Okay, A.J. Allmendinger.
Jimmy got like 27 championships and 197 wins. Yeah, my one's about the same. We're getting there. Making a run. Here we go. Watch out, Jimmy.
All right, this is going to be good. A.J. Allmendinger.
I want Brad back up here. He just makes me laugh.
A.J. Allmendinger is qualified for the 2014 chase for the NASCAR.
We did?
Sprint Cup. Yes, sir.
Well, nice.
You got to qualify for the rest of the races.
And I'm glad I don't have to run the showdown anymore in the All-Star race, at least for 1 year. That's awesome.
Right. You're also going to be in the 2015 Sprint All-Star race. So congratulations.
I get to practice making a run to pit road now next year because that scared the heck out of me this year.
Talk about this win tonight and the significance of it.
I mean, obviously that goes without saying how big and how important it is to this race team. And, to be able to share it with Tad and Jody and Brad and everybody at this whole 47 race team here at the racetrack, back at the shop, Tad, Jody, and Brad especially, and I've said it a million times, and I truly believe it, that they make this team feel like such a family and like we're their own. And, to be able to share that together, that was what, to me, rolling into victory lane meant, was that I was pulling in to victory lane with my family because they were there. My parents are here. My girlfriend, Tara, she's been such a great direction in my life. So to be able to share that, as a family, my bus driver, Skippy, I mean, heck, he's had to endure me breaking cabinets and punching refrigerators in my bus and having to repair stuff. So to be able to share that together, that to me is what it's all about, is that that's a part of family. And that's the coolest thing that I'll take from it. It helped having Roger Penske and the Penske Racing guys and Richard Childress show up and congratulate me too. That meant the world to me because it means that, to me at least, that I'm still a part of their family too, and they care about me. And as Tad and they were saying, what Richard Childress has done for us between the Alliance and the ECR Motors and what Chevy's done to help us get to this point, we couldn't do without him. So that was really cool. Everything that just happened in Victory Lane, it was something that I'll never forget.
Take questions now for AJ. We'll start here with Kyle. Raise your hand, Kyle.
Hey, AJ. Kyle Magnus, Speedway Digest. Did you ever imagine your first win in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series to be as dramatic and as tight as in the finish as it was today?
I was hoping to make it boring, honestly. Want to lead all 90 laps and just have a cruise control, but that's what makes the Sprint Cup Series so fun. You're not going to get that. And Marcus, I don't believe he's one of the best road racers in NASCAR. I don't believe he's one of the best in the U.S. I believe he's one of the best in the world. And to be able to have to go with him basically one-on-one there, and I felt like I've always respected him, but I respect him so much now because he could have easily just wrecked me and honestly probably moved me out of the way and wrecked me and drove to the win and made the chase and everything's great. But he didn't. He moved me out of the way, and he leaned on me, and I leaned on him back. So to have that, but have that mutual respect where we know what the limit is. We're going to take it right to the edge of that limit, but to be able to lean on each other but not wreck each other and have such a great finish for us, for me, to have that race be so memorable about how it ended. For the fans, they were so great for staying around through all the red flags. The track workers did such a great job to fix the fence and everything. So it's just a memorable day to go out there and remember everything that just happened. And I hope I win a lot more. But if I don't, to be able to remember it like this, it's pretty awesome.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Right here, this gentleman here, and then to Lee. Go ahead, sir.
Dave Sully, Ariota Racing News. In the last two restarts, Marcus passed you and you passed him back. Take us through those last two restarts and what was going on in your head.
Well, I mean, I knew I was going to have to pull every trick out of the bag that I could. He's so good, and he's so good about maneuvering his race car, making these big race cars turn and do what they need to do. And that first restart, I thought Kurt was close enough behind me that I didn't need to worry about him cutting under me. I was more worried about him trying to hang the outside of me. So when he turned under me, it surprised me that he was still there. And to kind of bounce off each other through the S's, which you're not really supposed to do. and then us go flying through the grass, and felt like he'd got some stuff on his tires, so the next couple of corners he overdrove a little bit, and I was able to get back under him and have that caution came out. And then, that last restart, I was really hoping Carl would make a good restart and kind of slide in between us, but I figured it wouldn't happen. And, I got through the bus stop, and I got a little loose through there, and I knew I kind of checked myself up. And as I said, he could probably just drove through me and just really cleared me out and sent me. But he just moved me enough to get that car width on the bottom that he needed. But I was able to hold the outside of him and knew I had the next corner. And I kind of leaned on him getting in the left-hander, just knowing if I can make him drive in deep with me and I can make the corner and he messes it up, if they get racing behind me and I get a 3-4 car length gap, I have a good shot at this thing. And once I came off the last corner coming for the white, I looked in my mirrors and saw them side by side, and it was like the most perfect sight I'd ever seen in my life. And I just knew I needed one perfect lap there. So just a dream come true.
Go ahead, Lee.
Those restarts were spectacular, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
You had such incredible success in kart, and you think about the struggles that you had just getting up to speed, and then with Roger, and then coming back with Roger. Your guys who were up here earlier, your peers basically said that it took a lot from you, to get back to this point. Can you just talk about what that road's been like, and now knowing that you're going to be in the chase? I mean, it may not be, the best opportunity you've ever had to be in the chase, but you're there. Can you just kind of talk about what the last few years have been like?
Yeah. I mean, coming from open wheel racing and coming into NASCAR, I watched it my whole life, and I thought, oh yeah, I mean, it looks tough, but it can't, it can't be that tough. And then I got in these cars, and I was like, what the heck are these things? Like, I mean, these are the toughest things I've ever had to learn how to drive, and it shows that it's one of the toughest series in the world, and I think sometimes it doesn't get the respect when it comes to outside the U.S. just because maybe, compared to like a Formula One, it's not as popular throughout the course of the world, but it's tough. I mean, we see all the guys that come over from open wheel racing and the ones that I mean, obviously Juan had a little success, and Tony's probably the biggest success when it comes from open wheel racing, but it's difficult to just really describe how hard it is to come in this, and I probably didn't come in the best way, with a brand new team like that, and it's just been a struggle the whole time. And when I got with Roger, I knew it was the best opportunity in my life, and I tried to fake it inside and say this is the right time for it. And I kept telling myself, yeah, this is the right time for it, but I knew it wasn't the right time for it. And over the course of what happened, it made me become a better person and just really try to understand what life is all about, because unfortunately this sport will take over your life. It will completely, when it's good it takes over, but when it's bad it really takes over, because that's all you can think about. So to be able to go through all that and come out the other side, and I'm so thankful last year for James Finch and Roger Penske and my great friend Michael Schenk for all the opportunities they gave me to be in a race car and live some dreams out, like racing in the Indy 500, be able to win for Roger and get my picture on his wall so it looks like I've actually been there. But more importantly, to come here and have Tad and Jody and Brad say, you know what, we're going to take a chance on him, and we think he's going to make this race team better. And I learn every day. I try to get better every day. I'm sure they'll attest to. There's certain days it's not good. I'm still not where I want to be. There's other days that I'm happy and I'm where I want to be, but I wouldn't go back and change the process, because I know I am a happier person. I am a more centered person. I know I need to keep working on to get better at that still, but I'm surrounded by a family, and to be able to share it together, we'll never forget this. So it's I wouldn't change anything about this.
All the way, excuse me, all the way in the back row. Go ahead.
I'm Ted Goldberg with Time Warner Cable News. First of all, congrats on the first career win. Obviously, a fantastic day for you. I mean, you'll remember this for a while, but I guess after what happened, last night, I guess, did you feel like that kind of cast a shadow over everything that was going on today?
Well, I mean, I think it's one of those things that you look back at, and it's it's a tough time for everybody. I said on TV after the race, this NASCAR community, we're, as a whole, we're a family. And when anything like that happens, it's something that you don't just kind of erase and you forget about, and all of our thoughts and prayers. And it may not seem like it, or, I wish there was more to do, but, it goes to the Ward family and what happened. It also goes to Tony, because it's not like he's sitting there and forgetting about it. I mean, it's tough scenario. So you just try to come together. That's all you can do. And you try to be thankful every day for the things that we have, the things that we're able to share together. And you also know that there's a lot less fortunate out there, and there's a lot of disasters, whether it's in racing or not. So you just try to keep that in perspective and always have your thoughts and prayers and do whatever you can to help out and be better with it.
Go ahead. Stay on the back row.
Eric Silverman, ESPN Ithaca. Certainly a very lengthy red flag there with 34 laps to go. How were you able to stay focused and keep that from rattling you when you got out there for the restart?
Well, I mean, it's part of the job. I mean, you don't want to sit there and wait for over an hour, but it's part of the job. And kind of gave us a chance, myself and Brian Burns, my crew chief, and everybody just kind of said, okay, what's going to happen here? What's the strategy? What are we looking at? And that's what I did. I tried to make sure I got up to second, I think, on that restart, and got around Carl as quick as possible, and immediately was gapping myself off of Kurt and Marcus while trying to save fuel just in case it went green. We all knew it wasn't going to go green the whole time, but just in case. And then from there, it's just about doing everything that I've learned in my life to try to hold them off and make no mistakes.
Let's stay on the back row. Go ahead.
AJ, the test here a couple of weeks ago, pretty important, huh?
Yeah. I mean, with a team like ours, anytime we can have a test at any racetrack, it's important. But we came here last year and tested, and it really helped out. We had a shot to win last year. I thought we had a great test with our Scott Product Chevy, and I was, as I said, cautiously optimistic because I didn't want to get too excited, but I really thought we had a good car. And we get so much help from Richard Childress and ECR and Chevy with the Alliance, but there's no substitute for our own on-track testing, and we don't get a lot of it. So I felt like we maximized that test. We did everything we needed to do during that test to come here and come back and say, okay, this is the little box that we're going to work in. We know what works and what doesn't work, and we're not going to skew from that. So it was definitely huge for us to have that opportunity, because without that, you just don't know. We got half these races we're testing stuff, trying to figure out what direction we need to go. So to be able to shorten that box is such a big deal for us.
Let's go to Reed, Kyle, and we'll finish with this gentleman here.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wires. It was on Friday, before being in the chase was a reality. You were saying, we may get in the chase, but, I don't know whether we're ready to contend for a title. I asked Brad that same question just a few minutes ago. He said, we got a shot. So do you feel the same way?
I mean, we got a shot. I'm not going to disagree with him. Thanks, Brad. Yeah, that's right. No, I mean, honestly, it's huge to be in the chase. And I didn't want to, when I was saying that on Friday, I didn't want to just say, just to be there, we're happy to be there. We want to go in there and make some noise. But I think more importantly, for all the sponsors that are associated with this team, Scott Products and Bush's Beans and Kingsford and Clorox, Charter, Shore Lunch and Hungry Jack and everybody that's associated with this race team. Kimberly Clark signed back up for 3 more years through 2017. Kingsford and Clorox did that earlier this year. So I feel like our sponsors see the right direction. So to be able to get them, our race team, to be able to say we're a chase team, to get that exposure when it comes to whether it's dollars on TV or just be able to come back to the sponsors and say, see, what you're putting into this race team, we're working hard and we're trying to give it back. And Tad and Jody and Brad do such a good job of the way they market all of our products together and how they help promote them. And when it comes to the chase, with the new format, it doesn't mean we can't show up to Chicago and get hot early. And it's the way the format's laid out, you don't have to be amazing for 10 races. You just have to be good enough each 3 sets of races. The next thing you know, you get to Homestead, anything can happen.